For 20 years, Scott Hembrough operated as a human multi-tool, rescuing others from wrecked vehicles, freezing lakes, and burning structures. Today, his own biology is the emergency. His DNA is an active crime scene. Working as a rescue specialist, a paramedic, and in law enforcement, his deployment record covered everything from local trauma responses to the wreckage of Ground Zero. He thrived in these extreme environments. The constant adrenaline, trauma, and sub-zero water submersions allowed him to push right through hidden physical limitations. But a human body can only outrun its genetics for so long. Eventually, the hardware fails. Scott's system is locked in a constant multi-front war. A genetic mutation, SCN9A, keeps his nervous system stranded in fight or flight. Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome destroys the connective tissue holding joints together, while systemic lupus actively attacks whatever structural integrity is left. This fragile baseline finally shattered under the combined weight of 2 decades of physical trauma and a severe early-stage COVID-19 infection that permanently forced his immune system into overdrive. The traditional medical system relies on standardized protocols, but Scott's genetics reject them. He possesses a genetic resistance to basic local anesthetics like lidocaine, and standard medications trigger violent autonomic reactions. The clinical recommendation for his condition is a fully trained medical alert and mobility service dog. However, the industry places that intervention behind a $30,000 paywall, a price a disabled first responder on a single-family income simply cannot afford. Abandoned by the algorithm and priced out of a solution, Scott had to do what he spent his career doing: initiate a tactical extraction. File 02, the asset. This is Havoc. She is a piece of living, breathing tactical gear, serving as the external CPU for his failing hardware. Because his connective tissue syndrome causes extreme vein laxity, bending over creates a gravity trigger, causing blood to rapidly pool in his lower legs. Havoc is biologically essential here, performing all low-level retrieval tasks to prevent this dangerous drop in blood pressure. This clinical visualization shows exactly why that blood pooling is dangerous. When the brain registers the drop, it triggers a massive adrenaline dump to force the fluid back up. This surge causes violent vascular constriction in the head, inducing hemiplegic migraines and aphasia. Looking at the data normalizing here, Havoc senses the invisible chemical shifts of an adrenaline dump early, instantly applying deep pressure therapy for a nervous system reboot. This telemetry is meticulously tracked using a custom diagnostic framework called the Scott Assessment and Prediction Tool, which monitors daily metrics ranging from pain profiles to severe autonomic triggers. Long before the hardware can crash, Havoc acts as the physiological anchor that holds the system together. Standard sit and stay obedience is entirely inadequate for this mission profile. Havoc requires extreme environmental desensitization and what handlers call nerve proofing. She is conditioned through a real-world crucible, holding her nerve amidst operations on active firegrounds, navigating the sensory overload of retail environments, and executing grounding maneuvers when Scott's PTSD spikes in the dead-stopped Griblovka Highway 401. Beyond the physical metrics, she has a crucial secondary directive, acting as a psychological tether. When profound, trauma-induced night terrors strike, Havoc physically interrupts the feedback loop, pulling her handler back to reality. The dog is being deliberately forged in the exact same chaotic fires that originally broke her handler. File 03, the extraction plan. The scope of this mission extends far beyond one man isolated on a boat. By documenting every agonizing failure, biological metric, and training milestone, Scott is compiling an open-source, step-by-step service dog training manual. It is designed to empower other disabled paramedics, police officers, and firefighters to train their own canine assets, allowing them to completely bypass the prohibitive $30,000 industry paywall. To keep the mission funded, Scott relies on a relentless strategy of securing corporate sponsorships and book sales, refusing to let financial ruin halt the operation. He is using his own failing biology as the clinical test subject to build a ladder back down into the pit for the rest of his community. This brings us to a strategic pillar of the operation known as the chameleon protocol. Havoc is frequently taken directly into active police, fire, and ambulance stations, outfitted in the exact tactical uniform of the specific agency she is visiting. The primary tactical objective is clear. Expose the dog to the unpredictable environments of active duty shift work to finalize her nerve proofing. Havoc's presence bypasses the hardened mental armor common to these stations. While she completes the environmental desensitization her training requires, she is simultaneously delivering covert peer support therapy to active duty crews who would never reached out to a traditional counselor. When the system abandons the operators must build their own rescue framework. For Scott and Havoc, the mission is simple: jaws and snout, sniffing trauma out.